Night of the Living Dead still hits harder than half the horror movies clogging streaming right now. That is the truth. It is free. It is raw. It does not ask permission, and it proves that age does not weaken a movie if the ideas still bite. Same goes for Charade, which feels slicker than it has any right to be. And House on Haunted Hill, which is still a crowd pleaser because Vincent Price knew exactly how to toy with an audience. These are not dusty relics. These are movies that can vanish overnight when licenses shift or channels disappear. Watch them now or regret it later. Number 15. Plan 9 from Outer Space, 1959. People love to laugh at this movie. Fine, laugh. But do not pretend it is worthless. Plan 9 matters because it shows what pure belief looks like on film. Ed Wood thought he was making something important. He was wrong, but he was sincere. And that sincerity bleeds through every awkward pause, every cardboard grave, every wobbling flying saucer hanging on a string. Watching Plan 9 is like watching someone try to build a cathedral with scraps. You see the effort. You see the desperation. You see the hope. That makes it more interesting than 1,000 lazy studio products that cost 10 times more and say nothing. This movie is alive. It fails loudly. It fails proudly. And that is why it sticks. There is also history baked into every frame. Bela Lugosi appears in mismatched footage because he died before filming finished. That alone gives the movie a strange, ghostly feeling. You are watching fragments of a legend stitched into nonsense. It should not work. Somehow, it does. This is also one of those movies that trains your brain. After Plan 9, you start noticing how much modern cinema hides behind polish. You realize confidence is not the same thing as quality. You realize ambition can be beautiful even when the result is a mess. Watch it with friends. Watch it alone at 3 in the morning. Either way, it leaves a mark. Not because it is good in the usual way, but because it is honest. And honesty is rare. Number 14. The Brain That Wouldn't Die, 1962. This movie should not be as creepy as it is. On paper, it sounds silly. A mad doctor keeps a living head alive while hunting for a new body. Cheap sets, cheap effects. Done. But the tone saves it. The Brain That Wouldn't Die is cold, mean, and weirdly serious. The doctor is not charming. He is not misunderstood. He is selfish. He treats people like parts. That makes the movie uncomfortable in a way modern remakes would never risk. The head is aware, angry, trapped, watching the doctor slide deeper into madness. That dynamic is the real horror. What really works is how still the movie is. Long, quiet moments. Characters staring too long. Rooms that feel empty even when someone is standing in them. It feels like a nightmare where nothing explodes, but everything feels wrong. This film also taps into fears that never go away. Fear of losing your body. Fear of being reduced to a thing. Fear of science running ahead of empathy. Those ideas still hit hard now, maybe harder. It is rough. It is uneven, but it sticks with you. You finish it and feel uneasy. That is a win. If you like your horror strange and a little cruel. Number 13. Suddenly, 1954. This movie is a punch to the face. Frank Sinatra as a hired killer. No charm, no jokes, just cold intent. That alone makes Suddenly worth watching. You spend the whole film waiting for the mask to crack. It never does. The setup is simple. A sniper takes over a family home to assassinate the president. That is it. But the tension is brutal. Sinatra plays the role like he enjoys the power. That is what makes it unsettling. He talks softly. He smiles. He threatens children without raising his voice. This film was buried for years because people feared it inspired real violence. That should tell you something. It felt too real, too plausible. Even now, it feels uncomfortably grounded. There is also a strong emotional core. The family trapped in the house is not stupid. They resist in small ways. Quiet ways, human ways. That makes the danger feel closer. No heroes swoop in. No big speeches. Just fear and waiting. Suddenly is not flashy. It does not want to be liked. It wants to make you nervous. And it succeeds. Watch it while it is still easy to find. Movies like this do not stay free forever. Number 12. Carnival of Souls, 1962. This movie sneaks up on you. It does not jump. It does not shout. It just drifts into your head and stays there. Carnival of Souls feels like something you dreamed once and forgot until years later when a random image brings it all back. That is its power. The story is simple on the surface. A woman survives a car crash. She walks away. But something is off. People do not seem to see her. Sounds fade in and out. Music swells at the wrong moments. She keeps seeing a pale man smiling at her from impossible places. No explanation arrives to make you comfortable. What makes this movie worth watching is the mood. Thick, lonely, sad. It feels empty in a way modern films are scared of. Long stretches with almost no dialogue, just footsteps, wind, an organ echoing in a church. That silence forces you to sit with the feeling instead of escaping it. The carnival scenes are the heart of it. Abandoned rides, rotting buildings, wide open spaces that feel claustrophobic. It looks cheap, but it works because it feels real. You believe this place exists. You believe she is stuck there, even when she leaves. This movie also understands grief better than most horror films. It is not about monsters chasing you. It is about being disconnected from the world, about surviving something you were not meant to survive. That idea hits harder the older you get. Carnival of Souls does not explain itself. Good. Life does not either. If you want horror that lingers quietly instead of begging for attention, this one is essential. Number 11. The Hitchhiker, 1953. This is one of the meanest movies of the 1950s. No polish, no mercy, just dread that never lets up. The Hitchhiker wastes no time pretending things will be okay. They will not. Two friends pick up a stranger while driving through the desert. Bad choice. The man is a killer. He tells them immediately. No mystery. No slow reveal. He has a twitch in his eye that never closes. You cannot unsee it. Neither can they. What makes this movie so effective is how trapped it feels. The desert stretches forever. No towns. No help. Just heat and dust, and a man who enjoys control. The killer does not rant. He does not perform. He watches. He smiles. He waits. This film was directed by Ida Lupino, and you can feel the difference. It is focused on fear, not spectacle, on power dynamics, on what happens when regular people realize there is no clever way out. Every decision makes things worse. Every attempt at bravery is punished. The violence is mostly implied, but it feels heavier because of that. You imagine what happens off-screen? Your brain fills in the blanks. That is scarier than anything explicit. The Hitchhiker also deserves credit for how modern it feels. The pacing is tight. The performances are restrained. The tension builds without music telling you how to feel. It trusts the audience. If you think old movies are slow or harmless, watch this. It proves that cruelty did not start in the 70s. It was always there, waiting for someone brave enough to show it plainly. Number 10. House on Haunted Hill, 1959. This movie knows exactly what it is doing. It wants to entertain you. Period. No shame. No pretending to be deep. And that confidence is why it still works. Vincent Price walks into this film like he owns it, and honestly, he does. The setup is classic. A group of strangers are invited to stay overnight in a haunted house. If they survive, they get paid. Simple, clean, effective. The house is full of traps. Secret rooms, skeletons popping out of nowhere, and voices echoing through the dark. It should feel dated. It does not. What makes this movie worth watching is the fun. Pure fun. Price delivers every line like he is winking at you without breaking character. He knows the house is ridiculous. He knows the danger is theatrical, and he leans into it. That charm carries the whole thing. The scares still land because they are timed well. The movie understands pacing, quiet build, sudden movement, long shadows, faces appearing where they should not be. It is playful, but not lazy. Every scare has a purpose. There is also something comforting about how tactile it feels. Real sets, real props, people actually walking through rooms instead of staring at green screens. The house feels physical. You believe someone could get lost in it. House on Haunted Hill is also important because it reminds you that horror does not need to be miserable to work. It can laugh. It can tease. It can enjoy itself. Too many modern horror films forget that. This is the kind of movie you throw on late at night and end up watching all the way through even if you plan to sleep. That is the highest compliment. Watch it while it is free. It never gets old. Number 9. White Zombie, 1932. Forget what you think zombies are. This is where they started. And it is nothing like the flesh-eating chaos we have now. White Zombie is slow, hypnotic, and deeply unsettling in a quiet way. Bela Lugosi plays a man who controls the dead through ritual and willpower. No gore, no shouting, just eyes staring too long and bodies moving without souls behind them. That calm is what makes it disturbing. These zombies are not monsters. They are workers, slaves, tools. The movie feels dreamlike, almost sleepy. Scenes drift instead of snap. Characters move as if underwater. That tone pulls you in whether you want it to or not. It feels wrong. You sense it early. You cannot escape it. What makes White Zombie worth watching is its atmosphere. Thick shadows, fog rolling across sugar mills, Lugosi whispering instead of yelling. He feels more dangerous because he is restrained. Every word feels deliberate. There is also historical weight here. This is pre-code Hollywood. It is allowed to be bleak. There is no neat moral bow at the end. Bad things happen and sometimes they stick. That honesty hits harder than you expect. Modern zombie movies are loud. White Zombie is patient. It trusts silence. It trusts your imagination. That is why it still works almost a century later. This is not background noise. You have to give it attention. But if you do, it rewards you with something rare. A horror movie that feels ancient and intimate at the same time. Number 8, Detour, 1945. This movie feels cursed. Not in a fun, spooky way. In a wrong place, wrong time, everything goes bad kind of way. Detour is short, mean, and completely uninterested in making you feel better. That is why it works. The story follows a guy who thinks he can outsmart fate. He cannot. Every choice he makes tightens the trap. He picks up the wrong hitchhiker. He says the wrong thing. He hesitates for half a second too long. And suddenly, his whole life is sliding downhill with no brakes. What makes Detour worth watching is how honest it is about bad luck. Not movie bad luck. Real bad luck. The kind that shows up without warning and does not care if you are a good person. The universe in this movie is hostile. It does not explain itself. It just crushes you and moves on. The real nightmare is the character of Vera. She is not a cartoon villain. She is sharp, loud, smart. She sees through every lie instantly. When she talks, the movie tightens. You know something awful is about to happen, and it usually does. Detour also looks incredible in a rough way. Dark roads, cheap rooms, faces half swallowed by shadow. It feels sweaty and desperate, like the movie itself is trapped in a corner trying to talk its way out. There is no hero here, just people making bad decisions under pressure. That makes it feel modern, brutally modern. You finish Detour feeling like you have been warned about something important and unpleasant. It is fast. It is ruthless. It does not waste a frame. That is why it is still talked about. Watch it while it is free. It does not ask for your sympathy. It demands your attention. Number 7, The Last Man on Earth, 1964. This is the quietest apocalypse you will ever see. No explosions, no big speeches, just empty streets and one man slowly losing his grip. Vincent Price carries this movie on his back and he never once overplays it. The setup is simple. A plague wipes out humanity. The survivors are not alive in the way we understand it. Price is alone. Every day he wakes up, secures his house, hunts during daylight, hides at night, repeat forever. That routine is the horror. What makes this movie worth watching is how lonely it feels. Long shots of deserted cities, silence broken only by footsteps. Price talking to himself because there is no one else. You feel the weight of everyday passing with no change. This version of the story is darker than later adaptations. There is no action hero energy, no hope speeches, just exhaustion. You can see it in Price's face. He is not fighting to win. He is fighting because stopping would mean giving up completely. The creatures are sad more than scary. They knock on doors. They call his name. They remember pieces of who they were. That detail hurts. It makes the world feel broken beyond repair. The ending lands hard. It flips the story in a way that makes you rethink everything you just watched. Suddenly, you realize the monster might not be who you thought. That idea stays with you long after the credits. The Last Man on Earth does not rush. It does not beg you to care. It just shows you what isolation does to a person and lets you sit with it. That takes confidence, and it pays off. Number 6, Charade, 1963. This movie is too smooth to be free. That is the first thing you notice. It feels expensive, clever, perfectly dressed, like it wandered onto YouTube by accident and no one has noticed yet. Charade moves fast and it never lets you get comfortable, which is exactly why it works. The setup sounds light. Audrey Hepburn, Cary Grant, Paris, a dead husband. But do not be fooled. This thing is meaner than it looks. People lie constantly. Names change, motives shift, characters smile while planning something ugly. You are always one step behind, and that is intentional. What makes Charade worth watching is the balance. It is funny without being soft, romantic without being syrupy, suspenseful without screaming at you. The jokes land because they come from tension, not punchlines. The danger feels real because the movie never winks too hard. Cary Grant plays against his usual image just enough to keep you uneasy. You are never sure who he really is. Audrey Hepburn carries the film emotionally. Her confusion feels genuine. She reacts like a real person trying to survive nonsense piling up around her. The pacing is killer. No wasted scenes. Every conversation adds doubt. Every new character complicates things. You are constantly reassessing what you think you know. That keeps your brain engaged instead of drifting. There is also a sharp edge under the polish. The film understands paranoia. It understands how quickly trust can turn into a liability. It plays with identity in a way that still feels modern. Charade is the kind of movie that reminds you old films were not slow by default. They were precise, confident, built by people who respected the audience. This one especially. If you think classics are stiff or polite, watch this. It snaps, it glides, it bites when it needs to, and it absolutely deserves to be watched before it quietly disappears again. Number 5, His Girl Friday, 1940. This movie talks faster than most people think. Blink and you miss a joke. Look away and you lose the plot. His Girl Friday is loud, sharp, and relentless, and that is exactly why it still feels alive. The story is simple. A reporter wants out. Her editor wants her back. What follows is verbal warfare disguised as romance. People interrupt each other constantly. Sentences overlap. Everyone is scheming. No one waits their turn. It feels chaotic because it is meant to. What makes this movie worth watching is the speed. Modern films are scared of it. This one embraces it. The dialogue crackles. You can almost hear the actors racing to keep up. That energy pulls you in whether you plan to watch or not. Rosalind Russell is the engine. She dominates every scene. Smart, ruthless, funny. She is never treated like a novelty. She is the sharpest person in the room, and the film knows it. Cary Grant keeps up, but only barely. That tension is the fun. The comedy comes from pressure, deadlines, bad decisions, moral shortcuts. Everyone is willing to bend the truth if it gets them the story. That cynicism feels shockingly current. Strip away the hats and phones, and it could be today. There is also a bite under the laughs. Journalism is not romantic here. It is messy, manipulative, addictive. People sacrifice relationships for headlines. That honesty gives the movie weight without slowing it down. His Girl Friday is not background noise. You have to lean in. You have to listen. But the reward is huge. You come away energized instead of drained. If you want proof that old movies can feel electric, this is it. Fast, smart, slightly cruel, and still undefeated. Number 4, Scarlet Street, 1945. This movie is cruel. Not flashy cruel. Quiet, slow soul, draining cruel. Scarlet Street does not care if you like its characters. It cares if you feel the consequences. And you will. Edward G. Robinson plays a meek man trapped in a small, dull life. Bad job. Bad marriage. No respect. He finds escape through painting and through a woman who sees him as nothing more than a wallet. That imbalance is the entire movie. Power shifting back and forth until someone breaks. What makes Scarlet Street worth watching is how uncomfortable it gets without raising its voice. No gunfights. No big speeches. Just manipulation happening in plain sight. The woman lies easily. The man lies to himself. Both choices lead somewhere dark. This movie was controversial for a reason. It refuses to soften the blow. Good behavior does not save anyone. Bad people are not punished neatly. Guilt lingers, regret rots. The ending does not clean anything up. It lets the damage sit. The performances are brutal in their restraint. Robinson slowly collapses from the inside. You see it in his posture, his eyes, his silence. Joan Bennett plays charm like a weapon. She smiles because it costs nothing. That makes it terrifying. Visually, the film is gorgeous and suffocating. Tight rooms, hard shadows, faces half hidden. It feels like the walls are leaning inward. There is no safe space. Even success feels temporary. Scarlet Street also feels shockingly modern. It understands emotional abuse. It understands how desperation makes people easy to exploit. It understands how small lies snowball into lives ruined. This is not a comfort watch. It is not meant to be. But it is honest. And honesty lasts longer than spectacle. If you want a classic that does not hold your hand, this is it. Number 3. The Most Dangerous Game, 1932. This movie wastes no time. Shipwreck, island, hunt begins, done. The Most Dangerous Game grabs you early and never loosens its grip. It feels lean, hungry, and dangerous even now. The premise is simple and terrifying. A man hunts other men for sport. No monsters, no science fiction, just ego, boredom, and power. That is why it still works. This story never ages. What makes this movie worth watching is how intense it feels for its age. Fast pacing, real danger, real physical effort. People run, fall, bleed. You feel the exhaustion. This is not staged elegance. It is survival. The villain is calm and polite, which makes him worse. He treats murder like a hobby, like wine tasting. That contrast between manners and brutality is chilling. He never needs to raise his voice. He is in control. Until he is not. The jungle setting is perfect, dark, wet, endless. Every shadow feels like a threat. The movie uses space brilliantly. You always know where the characters are. You always know how close danger is. That clarity builds tension instead of confusion. There is also something raw about pre-code films like this. They are not sanitized. They do not apologize. Violence feels heavier because it is not dressed up. The moral line is clear, but the experience is still rough. This movie inspired countless others. You will recognize pieces everywhere once you watch it, but none of the copies have the same bite. This one feels primal, like a warning told around a fire. It is short, it is sharp, it does not overstay its welcome, and it proves that early cinema could absolutely thrill an audience without tricks. Watch it while it is still easy to find. Number 2. Dementia 13, 1963. This movie feels wrong in a very specific way. Not cheap wrong, not clumsy wrong. More like you walked into a room where something bad already happened and no one told you. Dementia 13 has that energy from the first scene, and it never fully lets go. This is early Francis Ford Coppola, and you can feel the hunger. The movie wants to prove something. It wants to disturb you without spelling everything out. A woman hides a death. A wealthy family gathers around an old estate. An axe shows up, secrets pile up, and everyone lies badly. What makes Dementia 13 worth watching is its mood. It feels damp, cold, unwelcoming. The mansion is not grand. It is oppressive. Hallways stretch too long. Rooms feel watched. Even daytime scenes feel unsafe. That atmosphere does most of the work. The violence is sudden and ugly. No build-up music. No warning. 1 second, people are talking. The next, something awful happens. That unpredictability keeps you tense. You never feel settled. You never trust the quiet moments. There is also a cruelty to the characters that feels honest. Nobody is heroic. Nobody is innocent. Everyone wants something, and most of them deserve what they get. That makes the story feel sharper than a typical gothic thriller. You can see Coppola experimenting, playing with angles, letting shots linger too long, using silence as pressure. Sometimes it is rough. Sometimes it misses. But the ambition is obvious, and that makes it fascinating. This movie also benefits from not explaining everything. Some threads feel unfinished. Some motivations feel strange. That adds to the unease. Life rarely wraps itself up neatly, and this film understands that. Dementia 13 is not a comfort watch. It is not meant to be. It is the kind of movie that makes you lean forward and squint. The kind you think about later while doing something unrelated. That lingering effect is the goal, and it succeeds. If you like horror that feels slightly off balance and personal, this one is a must, especially while it is still easy to find. Movies like this tend to vanish quietly. Number 1. Night of the Living Dead, 1968. This is it, the one that still embarrasses modern horror. Night of the Living Dead does more with less than almost anything that came after it. No big budget, no stars, no safety net, just an idea so strong it refuses to die. What makes this movie worth watching is how serious it is. It does not treat horror like a joke or a thrill ride. It treats it like a breakdown. Society collapses fast. People argue, panic. make selfish choices, and that feels real, painfully real. The zombies are not the scariest part. The people are. Trapped in a house, talking over each other, refusing to listen. Every bad decision feels earned. You watch it unfold and think this is exactly how it would go. The black and white look helps. Everything feels harsher. Faces are stark. Blood is dark. Shadows swallow rooms. It feels like a news broadcast from the end of the world. That rawness still hits harder than polished effects. The lead performance is grounded and exhausted. No speeches, no hero posing, just someone trying to keep things together while it all falls apart. That restraint makes the ending hit like a punch to the chest, and that ending matters. It does not comfort you. It does not reward bravery. It leaves you cold, angry. That choice changed horror forever. Suddenly, monsters were not the only threat. Systems were. Fear was. This movie also carries cultural weight, whether you want it to or not. Themes of authority, violence, and isolation run straight through it. None of it feels forced. It is just there because that is the world it came from. Night of the Living Dead is not just important, it is effective. It still works. It still unsettles. It still feels urgent. That is rare. If you watch only one movie from this list, make it this one. Free or not, this is required viewing. And the fact that it is still free feels almost illegal. These movies are not museum pieces. They are living things. They survived bad transfers, broken licenses, and years of being ignored. And right now, they are sitting there free waiting for someone to hit play. That will not last. Streams vanish. Channels disappear. And suddenly everyone pretends they always loved them. Do not be that person. Watch them now. Argue with them. Love them. Hate them. Just experience them while you still can. If one of these surprised you, say so. And if you know another free classic hiding out there, drop it in the comments before it disappears too.